家长大家好，欢迎你们加入东大附中的行列，我是国际教育处主任陈佩珍。今天很可惜没有办法邀请您来到现场和我们面对面的互动，我们将经由录影的方式跟您介绍我们外语部外师课程的规划。在听完我们的介绍之后，如果你有任何的问题，欢迎您随时跟我们联络。首先要为大家介绍是我们这个学期的主要活动。首先我们会看到这个时程表，在9月到10月的时候，我们将会进行针对1、2年级做回家作业的一个抽查。在10月25到29号的时候，我们将会进行第一次的期中测验。接着我们在10月到11月，我们会进行国3的回家作业抽查。再来到了12月6号的时候，我们预定安排一个外语的户外教学活动。那到时也要看疫情的情况，我们才能决定能不能如期的进行。最后我们将在12月24号到30号这一周进行我们的最后的外语期末。那这个就是我们一整个学期最主要的一些活动，希望能够提供给家长做参考。接着为大家讨论到的是我们的评分方式。在外语课程当中，我们的平时表现将会占学习成绩的 40%， 那其中期末考总和加起来的话会占 60%。 那平时上课的表现呢， 40% 当中包含了 20% 的课堂参与， 30% 的回家作业，以及 20% 的课堂作业，还有最后的小考成绩会占 30%。 那我们经由课堂表现以及期中期末考加总起来，我们会结算出学生的一个 final grade， 也就是我们的 GPA 学习总成绩。接着为大家介绍的是我们每年的分组依据。我们的外语课程在每一年会进行一次的分组。那分组的依据呢，会根据学生的 GPA 以及他的多益测验。我们在下学期的时候会针对全校性进行一次的多益测验。那学生的 GPA 会占我们分组表现的 40%， 那多益的成绩会占分组成绩的 60%。 根据学生的 GPA 以及多益，我们会进行下一个年度的分组。接着跟家长介绍的是我们学生管理的部分。那在课堂上，老师会经由观察学生在课堂上的表现以及学生成绩的一个反应，那就会去观察到有特别需要赞赏的学生，以及可能需要我们特别关心的学生。那如果是非常优秀的孩子，我们会经由老师的推荐，每个月我们会选出所谓的 Student of the Month， 那给予学生奖励。那特别在升旗的时候会颁奖给这些孩子，鼓励赞许孩子在课堂上优秀杰出的表现。那如果说在课堂当中学生出现了一些比较可能需要修正的行为，我们会经由外师他会填写一个所谓的学生行为表单，那我们行政单位就会开始介入了解孩子上课需要协助的部分。有必要的时候，我们会以电访的方式联络家长，让家长了解孩子在上课的时候的情况，以及希望家长这边跟我们一起协助，让孩子能够在课堂上有更好的表现。所以您可以看到从左边到右边是优良的表现，它就会经由老师推荐成为 Student of the Month。 那如果说他的表现需要修正的话，我们会经由亲师沟通，然后行政介入处理，以及跟家长的一个请求沟通之后，我们沟通之后会进行所谓的，如果事态比较严重，我们可能就会进行比较特别的学生事件的处理。那在这个过程当中，我们都会跟家长保持密切的联系，让家长彻底的了解孩子在上课的过程当中所有的行为表现。好，那各位家长现在在荧幕上所看到呢，是我们刚刚提到的亲师联系函的部分。这个部分会由外师所填写，接着会由我们这边行政单位来联系家长，让家长随时了解孩子在上课时的一个表现。接着为各位家长介绍我们 Esl 课程的一个设计。我们 Esl 课程主要分为4个学科，第一个是 Language Art LA， 第二个是 Performing Art PA， 再第3个是 Social Study， 第4个是 Science。 在 LA 的过程当中，我们希望鼓励孩子多阅读，经由阅读来探索这个世界。PA 的课程当中，我们希望鼓励孩子能够经由表达，将他们所学的知识呈现出来，并跟其他的孩子互动讨论。第 第3个部分在 social study， 我们希望鼓励孩子能够多了解他们所生存的环境，进而对社会有更多的关心。第4个在 science 的部分，我们希望能够培养孩子他基础的批判性思考，以便在他未来专业领域的发展上能够有一个良好的基础。以上是我们最主要的4个学科：语言艺术、表演艺术、社会与自然。那这4个学科主要的发展都是奠基于108课纲。根据108课纲我们所研发出来的课程，108课纲主要希望能够培养孩子成为一个自主学习、互动更好、具有国际观的全球公民。希望孩子在我们外师的领导之下，能够成为这样一个全球化的公民。以上是我们最主要的4个学科，接着我们邀请这4个学科主要的负责老师来为我们说明解释我们这4个学科里面主要的内涵是有哪一些。
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Andy. I am the subject head for LA, Language Arts, and today I will introduce you to the beauty and the depth of our LA program. J1, J2, and J3 learn 3 different kinds of literary devices. We start with J1 with poetry, then J2 with flashback, metaphor, and then J3 with media literacy and newspapers in order to have them understand, since they are more adult than the other cohorts, in order to have them to understand what's the world outside. Now, what did we bring to class? What kind of material? We have fictions for each level, and then we have the mandatory program of grammar and the mandatory vocabulary list that the Ministry of Education in Taiwan wants us to teach. Number 3, we have a tailored curriculum of LA, Language Arts, literary devices specifically designed to meet your children's needs. Now, to have an overview of what we do in class, we start from the novel for language acquisition and literary analysis, summary, key plot points and comprehension questions, and then applied grammar. They study grammar in their Taiwanese class, they come to our class, they discuss, and they write using that grammar path and that vocabulary. Then we have literary devices, as I've shown you before, something that gives them the chance to actually write better, express themselves better in writing. And number 5, the United Nations SDG goals, the Sustainable Development Goals. Because all around this school, all around the world, there are global issues, and we want to expose the children to these kind of issues so that they can understand what's the real world and maybe they can propose a solution. As you can see, this is the kind of material that we have. So we have a novel and a summary. The summary is made so that on the paper they will find vocabulary in English and Chinese, because we want to sustain, we want to support the plan for 2030 bilingual Taiwan. Applied grammar, where they use the grammar pattern that they study in their own class, and they use it in our class to analyze the book, to talk about the characters in the book. And then, flashback, in this case, this is literary devices, so we ask them to perform different kind of writing, not just a subject, verb, and object, but try to make it more artistic, as in language arts. And then, United Nations SDG goals. So this is very important because all around the world, many schools are focusing on giving students, providing students with the necessary awareness for them to approach real life. So real life scenario, the key point of the one-way curriculum, and SDG goals, the key point of the United Nations, where we take the students, we have them analyze the themes on the book, and then we say, can we find a connection between this theme and the problems outside? Can we find a connection between this theme and what's happening in the real world? That's how we do it. Next. Final one, we wanted you to have a glimpse of what the United Nations SDG goals are. And here you can find a translation in Chinese. We made sure that the students approach each and every one of these goals. They propose solution, of course, let's say with their own perspective, with their own point of view, and with their own age. That's it for language arts. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, and welcome to PTA. My name is Chris, and I'm the subject head for PA, Performing Arts. Today I'm going to give you guys a very quick look at our PA program, and so let us begin. PA aims to engage the students' learning through speaking, listening, and performing. We want them to acquire confidence, English skills, and professionalism. So, this is our PA curriculum. We're going to start with J1, and we're going to talk through to J3, just for semester 1. So let's have a look at J1. J1, we want them to begin learning how to develop quality presentations and speeches. This is not only to help them develop this, we want them to develop the habits of making good productions, starting from brainstorming, researching, planning and drafting, production, and all the way to post-production, writing, and all that. So this is a very important step of our PA program. That's why we set it as J1, semester 1. Once they have learned the skills and have learned how to deal with this, it will help them with every other projects that we have in PA, also in projects like science and social studies. In J2, we have a very, very big event that happens in J2. It's called the PA Night. This is when all the students from the J2 class will gather together, write a script, and perform a big performance for you, the parents. And that's why in semester 1 of J2, we want to begin them on the course of planning executing their ideas and how to develop this into an actual performance. So J2, from semester 1 to semester 2, they'll be focused on PA Night. Once they reach J3, this is when they're getting ready to leave for high school and the future. So we want to start looking outwards, things that can help the students in the future. So in semester 1, we want to start them on citizenship, interpersonal relationship, and cultural global understanding. A lot of projects we'll be doing in J3 will focus on the real world that relates to SDG. Also, we'll be doing projects that relate to 108 curriculum. We want the kids to start understanding how the real world works and how they can be beneficial to the world. Now that we have taken a look at the course material, let's take a look at our overall goal. So PA, we want to improve the students' confidence in their English speaking skills, plus build a professional portfolio for the future. This is a way for them to take what we learn in PA and build it up so that in the future, whether it's high school, university, or even jobs, they can take all these skills with them and become a model citizen, a model worker in the future. Thank you guys for listening, and if you have any more questions, feel free to contact us anytime. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Charlie, and I am the head of Social Studies. I'm here to talk to you about our program and how your children can benefit from it. With the perpetual expansion of technology and devices, the world of our children is shrinking. People, places, and things that were unfamiliar to us are now commonplace knowledge in their worlds. How they can interact with it and use it to their advantage is taught and implemented in our 3-year Social Studies program. Our tailor-made curriculum and material has several branches of focus. They include geography, civics, history, economics, and international relations. From J1, we emphasize on acknowledgement and practices of early human evolution. In ancient civilizations and its development, we keep a scientific perspective while adhering to the religious and cultural beliefs of the community. In J2, we shift towards the Western cultures of Europe and its origins. Ancient Rome and Greece are key fundamental legacies that Romance languages are utilized through, with key emphasis on differences and similarities. Finally, in J3, modern topics of international economics, technology development, and resource management are introduced to the highest level of learners preparing for the real world. Concluding with our own contemporary Asian history and Taiwan's relations with all our neighbors. Students are now able to become members of international citizens after going through our complete curriculum and understanding the unique situation they are in. Not only will they understand who, what, when, and why the world reacts the way it does, but the students are able to critically think for themselves and dissect any information presented before them. That is our presentation for social studies, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please direct it towards the office and we will be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Xavier. I'm the head of science, and today I'm just going to give you an overview of what is expected for J1 and J2 science. J3 does not, unfortunately they do not have science, so we only cover a 2-year course in Domai's ESL program. To keep it simple, I'm going to break it down into semester 1 and semester 2. For semester 1 in J1, the topics are very, very narrow, so we look at specific items within the curriculum and focus on them for an extended period of time. So, for example, we've got environmental sciences, biology, and then at the end, the students have built a big enough portfolio to be able to do the project at the end of each semester. And then semester 2, the environmental sciences continue, so we go into a little bit more depth. And then the biology, human anatomy, and finally the final project which builds the portfolio for that. As for J2's chemistry has a lot of different topics because we're trying to introduce different parts of science now where students take notes and take down more important information so that it can help them when they go to their J3 and then obviously beyond that to high school and then university. We try to build a lot of the fundamental skills for the students to take it ahead when they leave our classrooms. So atomic structure, periodic table, electron diagrams, covalent bonds, ionic bonds, all of these are very, very important parts going into high school. And then in the second semester, we basically do a lot of consolidation exercises and bring in a little bit more of the challenging topics, like, for example, solutions, acids and bases, and also pH. So, as said earlier with the portfolio, we base most of the portfolio on the projects that the students do, and these are just a breakdown of what those projects are. In J1, the biggest project there would be the biome project. We're always working towards that biome project where students can actually apply what they have learned to make their science a little bit more worthwhile, and they can actually see the product of their studies. In semester 2, we start focusing on human anatomy, so a lot of words students have never seen when we cover human anatomy, so a lot of high-end explanations are required, and then obviously more diagrams and posters are used for students to understand this better. For J2 chemistry, it's a little easier. We have lab activities, which makes practical work far more accessible for students that learn with a practical aspect. So we definitely have lab activities. In the first semester, there's only one activity. Second semester, there's 2. So first semester focuses a lot on the fundamental skills, wanting to teach students how to do something and do things safely before we take them to the lab. So there's one activity there based on alkali metals. And then in the second semester, the 2 big ones there is the iodine clock reaction and the elephant tooth-based lab activities. Students always look forward to doing these activities in our classes. Yeah, so finally, the overall goals for science in general, we really want to try to develop curiosity. So we want students to ask questions of why, how, and build that, because let's face it, in society today, many students need to aim for fields of being a doctor, being an engineer, and that is actually what you would like your child to become one day. And obviously these are very, very important skills, and it's better to build them earlier than later. And then we teach students how to think analytically and also critically about certain topics. Not all problems have an easy solution, so we want to kind of entice students to actually think further and further and help them to collect data to support their findings. The big one there for J2 is the third last one, to write a hypothesis, is an estimate or a theoretical guess of what you think is going to happen. So we want, again, everything's built on that curiosity and analytical ability of students to think outside of the box. So yeah, thank you guys. That is J1 and J2 science. If you have any questions, please let the office know.
以上是我们2021年外语课程的一个介绍，希望经由以上介绍，家长都能够进一步理解我们的外语课程。 如果您对以上的影片有任何的问题，欢迎您随时联络国际教育处，我们会有专业的人为您进行进一步的一个解释。以上是我们的报告，谢谢。